The space station Korath Prime was always busy. Ships came and went every hour. Traders sold goods from 100 different worlds. Soldiers walked past merchants. Thieves watched for easy targets. In this place where many species met, one human man sat alone in a dark corner of a food hall. Kang Do-yun did not look special. He wore simple clothes. His face showed no emotion. He was 34 years old, but his eyes looked much older. Those eyes had seen too much death. They had watched friends die on Mars during the uprising 10 years ago. Now those same eyes watched the crowd, always searching for danger. He worked as a guard for human traders. The pay was good. The work was simple. Protect the cargo. Protect the merchants. Do not ask questions. This life suited him fine. He had no family waiting on Earth. He had no friends he kept in touch with. He had only his gun, his skills, and his memories. On this day, everything changed. The girl appeared from a side passage. She was not human. Her skin was silver blue, smooth like water under moonlight. Her eyes were large and purple, shaped like almonds. She was beautiful in a way that seemed unreal. Two guards walked behind her, both from her species. They wore simple traveling clothes, trying not to draw attention. Do-yun noticed them. He noticed everything. But he looked away. Not his problem. Not his job. Then the shooting started. 5 figures in black came from nowhere. They moved fast. Their weapons made no sound, only bright flashes of green light. The first guard fell before he could reach for his weapon. The second guard tried to protect the girl, but took 3 shots to the chest. He dropped like a stone. The girl screamed. She ran. The assassins followed. Do-yun did not think. He did not plan. His body moved on its own. Years of training took over. He was running before his mind caught up. His gun was in his hand. He fired twice. 2 assassins fell. The others turned to face him. Good. That meant they were not chasing her. "Human," one of them said. The word sounded like an insult. "Walk away. This is not your fight." Do-yun said nothing. He kept his gun raised. The assassin fired. The plasma bolt hit Do-yun in the left shoulder. The pain was terrible. It felt like someone had pushed a hot iron through his flesh. He could smell his own skin burning, but he did not fall. He fired back. The assassin dropped. 2 left. They split up. Smart. One went for the girl. One came for him. Do-yun ran after the one chasing the girl. Another bolt hit him, this time in the side. He stumbled but kept moving. The pain was a distant thing now. His body knew what to do. Feel the pain later. Fight now. He found them in a storage area. The assassin had cornered the girl. She pressed against the wall, her purple eyes wide with fear. The assassin raised his weapon. Do-yun threw himself between them. The plasma bolt went through his chest. He felt it enter below his heart and exit through his back. The pain was beyond anything he had ever known. His vision went white, but his hand still held the gun. His finger still found the trigger. He fired. The assassin fell. The last one came running. Do-yun turned. His movements were slow now. Blood ran from his wounds. The holes in his body glowed faintly from the plasma burns. Any other species would be dead. He should be dead. But he was human. Humans were strange like that. He raised his gun one more time. His hand shook. His vision blurred. But he saw the target. He pulled the trigger. The last assassin fell. Then Do-yun fell too. He lay on the cold floor. His blood spread around him in a growing pool. The girl knelt beside him. Her hands touched his face. They were cool against his burning skin. "Why?" she asked. Her voice was soft, musical. "Why did you save me? You do not know me." Do-yun tried to speak. His mouth was full of blood. "You were in trouble," he managed. "That was enough." The girl stared at him. Tears fell from her purple eyes. She did not understand. In her world, nobody did anything without reason. Nobody risked their life for a stranger. But this human had done exactly that. He had taken wounds that should kill him, and he had done it for her. More guards arrived. These wore the uniform of the Valoran Empire. They saw the girl and immediately bowed low. "Princess Yuna!" one shouted. "Are you hurt?" "Princess." Do-yun heard the word through the fog of pain. He had saved a princess. He almost laughed, but laughing hurt too much. "Save him!" Yuna commanded. Her voice was suddenly strong. "I do not care what it takes. Save this human. He bled for me. Under our law, I owe him a life debt. My mother, the queen, must honor it. Take him to our ship. Now." The guards hesitated. A human? On an imperial ship? But the princess had spoken. They lifted Do-yun carefully. His eyes closed. The darkness took him. His last thought was simple. Maybe this time he would finally rest. He was wrong. Do-yun woke up in a room made of light. The walls glowed soft blue. The bed beneath him felt like clouds. He tried to sit up, and his body obeyed without pain. He looked down at his chest. The wounds were gone. Not even scars remained. "You should rest more," a voice said. Yuna stood by the door. In proper light, she was even more beautiful. Her silver-blue skin caught the glow of the room and seemed to shine from within. She wore a white dress that flowed like water around her. "Where am I?" Do-yun asked. His voice was rough from sleep. "The Imperial Palace, on Valora, my home world." She walked closer. "Our doctors healed you. They said your injuries would kill any other species. 3 plasma wounds through vital organs. But you survived. They are very curious about you now." Do-yun swung his legs off the bed. "How long was I asleep?" 2 weeks. 2 weeks. His employers would think he was dead. Not that it mattered. He had no one waiting for him anyway. "I need to leave," he said. "Thank you for saving me, but I have work to return to." Yuna's face changed. Something sad entered her purple eyes. "I am afraid that is not possible. My mother wishes to see you first. The life debt ceremony must happen. And she has questions." Guards came to bring him to the throne room. They were tall and strong, with the same silver-blue skin as Yuna. They did not speak to him. They did not even look at him. To them, he was nothing. Just a strange creature the princess had brought home. The palace was beyond anything Do-hyun had ever seen. The halls were made of crystal that sang when wind passed through. Gardens floated in the air, held up by invisible forces. Servants moved in silence, their feet never touching the floor. The throne room was largest of all. It could hold 1,000 people easily. At the far end sat a woman on a throne of pure starlight. Queen Mirai. She looked like Yuna, but older. Not old in the way humans get old. She looked ageless, eternal, like a statue that had watched mountains rise and fall. Her eyes were dark purple, almost black. When she looked at Do-hyun, he felt those eyes reaching inside him, reading his thoughts. "Come closer, human," she said. Her voice filled the room without effort. Do-hyun walked forward. He did not bow. He did not kneel. He was not her subject. He simply stood before her and waited. The queen studied him for a long moment. "You saved my daughter. You took wounds that should have killed you 3 times over. And yet you stand before me now, whole and alive. Tell me, human, how is this possible?" "Humans are hard to kill," Do-hyun said simply. "I have lived 3,000 years," the queen said. "I have seen many species. None are like yours. You live such short lives, yet you burn so bright. You fight when you should surrender. You hope when you should despair. You survive when you should die." She leaned forward. "Why?" Do-hyun had no answer. He had never thought about it. He just did what needed to be done. "Under our law," the queen continued, "my daughter owes you a life debt. This debt cannot be paid simply. You saved the life of an imperial princess. Such a debt requires great compensation. She smiled. It was not a warm smile. Until I decide what that compensation should be, you will remain here as our honored guest. Do-yun understood immediately. Guest was just a pretty word. He was a prisoner. I want to go home, he said. In time, the queen said. Perhaps. They gave him beautiful rooms. They gave him fine food. They gave him soft clothes and anything he asked for. But when he tried to leave, guards stopped him. Politely, gently. But they stopped him. Days passed, then weeks. The queen called for him often. She asked questions about Earth, about human history, about their wars and their art, and their strange ability to keep going when all logic said they should stop. Do-yun answered because he had nothing else to do. Yuna came to see him every day. She felt guilty. He could see it in her eyes. I am sorry, she said one evening. I did not know my mother would do this. It is not your fault. But it is. I asked them to save you. I brought you here. And now, she looked at the locked door. Now you are trapped because of me. Do-yun tried to escape twice. The first time, he got as far as the outer gardens before they caught him. The second time, he almost reached a ship. Both times, he did things they did not expect. Climbed walls they thought were too smooth. Hid in places they thought were too small. Moved in ways their ancient minds could not predict. The queen found his escape attempts fascinating. No one has ever resisted me, she told him after the second attempt. No one has ever tried so hard to leave. Most would accept the comfort I offer, but you keep fighting. Why? Because a cage is still a cage, Do-yun said. Even if it is made of gold. The queen looked at him with something new in her dark eyes. Interest, hunger. He did not like that look at all. That night, Yuna visited him again. She sat beside him on the balcony that overlooked a garden of glowing flowers. Tell me about Earth, she said. So he did. He told her about mountains and oceans, about cities that never slept, about rain and snow and seasons that changed. He told her about his home in Korea, a small country that had survived between bigger powers for thousands of years. It sounds beautiful, she said. It is. He paused. What about you? What is your life like here? Yuna was quiet for a long time. I am 300 years old, she finally said, and I have never felt as alive as I did in those few minutes on Korath Prime, when you were fighting to save me. When everything was chaos and fear and blood. She looked at him. Is that strange? No, Do-yun said. I think I understand. For the first time in years, he felt something stir inside his chest, something that was not pain or emptiness. It felt almost like hope. On Earth, in the city of Geneva, a woman named Baek Jisoo sat in a small apartment and read a message for the 10th time. The message had come through secret channels. It had passed through 5 different relay points before reaching her. It contained only 3 sentences. Kang Do-yun is alive. He is held on Valora. He cannot leave. Jisoo closed her eyes. Memories flooded back. Mars. The uprising. Fire and blood and screaming. Their whole squad had died that day. Only she and Do-yun had walked out alive. She remembered carrying him on her back for 3 kilometers because his legs were broken and he refused to let go of his rifle. After the war, they had gone separate ways. She became a pilot. He became a shadow. But the bond between them never broke. When you survive hell together, something connects you forever. You idiot, she whispered to the empty room. What did you get yourself into this time? She started making calls. Far away, in the headquarters of Earth's space fleet, Admiral Park Tae-woo faced a room full of angry politicians. They shouted over each other. Some wanted war. Some wanted silence. None of them agreed on anything. The Valoran Empire has held a human citizen for 6 months without cause, one senator yelled. This is an act of war. War with Valora would destroy us, another responded. They have been a galactic power for 3,000 years. We have been in space for less than a century. So we abandon our people? We show the galaxy that humans can be taken without consequences? Admiral Park raised his hand. The room went quiet. He was old and tired, but his eyes were sharp as knives. We will send formal protests, he said. We will demand his release through proper channels, and in the meantime, we will prepare other options. He did not explain what those options were. Some things were better left unsaid. On Valora, Do-hyun sat in his beautiful prison and watched the stars through his window. Yuna sat beside him, as she did every evening now. Their talks had grown longer. Their silences had grown comfortable. My mother asked me to deliver a message, Yuna said quietly. She wants you to become her companion. Do-hyun turned to look at her. What does that mean? It is a position of honor. You would have status, wealth, comfort, everything you could want. Yuna paused. In exchange, you would stay by her side. Forever. Until your natural death. A comfortable leash is still a leash. I told her you would say that. Yuna smiled sadly. She does not understand. No one has ever refused her. She has ruled for 3,000 years. Kings have begged for her attention. Empires have fallen to win her favor. And you, a human who has lived for only 34 years, you tell her no. What I am worth has nothing to do with how long I live. Yuna was quiet for a long moment. Then she leaned closer and lowered her voice. There is something else. Something I discovered in my mother's private files. The reason she wants to keep you. Do-hyun waited. She is not just curious about humans. She wants to study you, your body, your blood, your ability to survive things that should kill you. Yuna's voice shook. She plans to use what she learns to make our soldiers stronger, to create warriors with human resilience. You are not a guest or even a prisoner. You are a specimen. Do-hyun felt cold settle into his chest. He had suspected something like this. The endless medical tests, the questions about human biology, the way the doctors looked at him like he was a puzzle to be solved. Why are you telling me this? He asked. Because it is wrong. Tears formed in Yuna's purple eyes. Because you saved my life, and this is how my people repay you. Because in 300 years, you are the first person who has treated me like I am more than a princess. Do-hyun reached out and took her hand. Her skin was cool and smooth. Then help me get out of here. I cannot. The palace security is too strong. Even I do not have access to everything. Then we wait. And we watch. Opportunities always come. Across the galaxy, other powers were watching too. The Valoran Empire had ruled unchallenged for centuries. But now there was a new species. A species that fought without logic, that survived without reason, that refused to accept defeat even when defeat was certain. Secret messages passed between governments. Alliances shifted. Old rivals began to wonder if perhaps this strange young species might be worth supporting. Earth received visitors from 3 different empires, each offering friendship, each asking questions about human nature. Admiral Park met with all of them. He listened. He nodded. He gave nothing away. But in his private office, he approved Jisu's request. A small ship, a volunteer crew, an unofficial mission. Bring him home, the Admiral said. Whatever it takes, Jisu saluted. Yes, sir. She walked out into the night, already making plans. Somewhere out there, across the dark ocean of space, her friend was waiting. She would not let him down. Humans protected their own. That was what they did. That was who they were. The galaxy was about to learn this lesson. 1 year after Do-hyun's capture, a small ship drifted at the edge of Valoran space. The ship was called the Dokdo. It had no weapons that showed on scanners. It looked like nothing special. This was exactly what Jisu wanted. 12 people sat inside the ship. All of them were volunteers. All of them knew they might not come back. They did not care. "Final check," Jisoo said from the pilot's seat. "Everyone ready?" 11 voices answered yes. Among them was Han Minho, an engineer who could fix anything with wire and tape. There was Choi Sera, a hacker who once crashed an entire planet's banking system as a joke. There was Kim Junho, who had been a soldier in the same unit as Do-hyun and Jisoo, and who still owed Do-hyun his life from a mission gone wrong. They were not a proper military unit. They had no official support, but they were human, and that meant they did not give up on their own. "Message coming through," Sarah announced. She pressed buttons on her screen. "It is from our contact on Valora." The message was from Yuna. Over the past months, she had been sending information through secret channels, maps of the palace, guard schedules, security codes. Each message put her in terrible danger. If her mother discovered her betrayal, the punishment would be severe. But she sent them anyway. For Do-hyun. For what was right. "There is a celebration tonight," Sarah read. "The anniversary of the Queen's coronation, 3,000 years. The palace will be full of guests. Security will be focused on the main halls. The old maintenance tunnels will be unguarded. I will disable the internal alarms at midnight. You will have 20 minutes. 20 minutes to get in, find Do-hyun, and get out. Against an ancient empire with technology far beyond their own. It was almost impossible." Almost impossible was just another way of saying not impossible. The Docto slipped past the outer defenses using codes that Yuna had provided. It landed in a dark valley far from the palace, hidden by mountains. The team moved on foot through the alien night. Valora was beautiful in a cold way. The sky had 3 moons. The trees glowed with soft blue light. Everything was perfect and still, like a painting that had forgotten how to move. They found the entrance to the maintenance tunnels right where Yuna said it would be. The tunnels were old, older than the current palace. Dust covered everything. No one had walked here in centuries. "Stay close," Jisoo whispered. "Stay quiet." They moved through the darkness. Minho had made lights that could not be detected by Valoran sensors. They were dim, but enough to see by. Step by step, they climbed toward the palace. At midnight exactly, the alarms went dead. Yuna had done her part. The team emerged in a storage room deep inside the palace. Music played somewhere far above. The celebration was in full swing. Jisoo split the team into 3 groups, one to secure an exit path, one to create a distraction if needed, one to find Do-hyun. Jisoo led the rescue group herself. She had not seen Do-hyun in 2 years, but she knew she would find him. She always did. They moved through servant passages and empty corridors. Twice they had to hide from guards. Once they almost walked into a group of nobles lost on their way to the celebration. But luck was with them. Do-hyun's room was in the eastern wing. Yuna had marked it on the map. The door was locked, but not guarded. Sarah worked on the lock while Junho kept watch. The door opened. Do-hyun stood inside, already dressed and ready. Yuna had warned him. He looked thinner than before, but his eyes were sharp. When he saw Jisoo, something crossed his face. Relief. Gratitude. Something close to tears. Jisoo walked up to him and punched him in the shoulder. "That is for getting caught," she said. Then she hugged him. "This is for surviving." "I knew you would come," Do-hyun said quietly. "We need to move," Junho said. 12 minutes left." They ran back the way they came. Everything was going according to plan. Too well, perhaps. Jisoo felt the familiar itch at the back of her neck that warned of danger. The warning came too late. Guards flooded the corridor ahead. More came from behind. They were surrounded. Queen Mireille stepped forward from among her soldiers, her dark eyes burning with cold fury. "Did you think I would not notice?" she said. "Did you think humans could walk into my palace and take what belongs to me?" "He does not belong to you," Jisoo said. "He is not a thing to be owned." The Queen laughed. It was not a nice sound. "Your species is so young. You do not understand how the galaxy works. The strong take what they want. The weak accept." "Then you do not understand humans," Do-Yun said. He stepped forward. "We do not accept. We never have. We never will." Somewhere in the palace, an explosion shook the walls. The distraction team had done their job. Lights flickered. Guards looked around in confusion. In that moment of chaos, the humans moved. They fought without rules. They fought without honor. They bit and kicked and used everything around them as weapons. The Valoran guards were trained for centuries. But humans were trained by desperation. The team broke through. They ran for the exit. Behind them, the Queen screamed orders. At the tunnel entrance, someone was waiting. Yuna stood in the shadows, her silver-blue skin pale with fear. "I am coming with you," she said to Do-Hyun. "I cannot stay here anymore. My mother will know I helped you. Please, take me with you." Do-Hyun looked at Jisoo. Jisoo looked at Yuna. There was no time to argue. "Then run," Jisoo said. "Run like your life depends on it, because it does." They ran. The Dokdo flew through space as fast as its engines could push. Behind them, Valoran ships gave chase. The Queen had sent her entire personal fleet. Over 100 warships, each one more powerful than anything humans had ever built. "They are gaining," Minho said from his station. "We cannot outrun them." Jisoo's hands flew over the controls. "We do not need to outrun them. We just need to reach the border." The border between Valoran space and neutral territory was only hours away. But hours might as well be years when enemies were on your tail. A message came through. The Queen's face appeared on the screen. Her dark eyes burned with rage. "You cannot escape," she said. "Return my daughter and the human. Surrender now, and I will be merciful." Yuna stepped forward to the screen. Her voice was steady even though her hands shook. "I am not your prisoner to return, Mother. I choose to leave. I choose freedom." The Queen's face twisted. "You would abandon your people? Your family? For these creatures who live and die in the blink of an eye?" "They live more in their short years than we do in our centuries," Yuna said. "They love harder. They fight harder. They care about each other in ways we have forgotten. Yes, Mother, I choose them." The Queen cut the connection. Seconds later, the first weapons fired. The Dokdo shook as energy blasts hit its shields. Warning lights flashed. Smoke filled the air. But they kept flying. Every minute brought them closer to safety. "Border in 10 minutes, Sarah announced. "But our shields will not last 5. Then something appeared on the sensors. Ships, dozens of them, coming from the direction of Earth. Admiral Park Tae-woo's voice crackled through the speakers. "Dokdo, this is the Earth fleet. We have you on sensors." "Hold on." 47 human ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel right at the border. They were small compared to Valoran warships. They were fewer in number, but they formed a line between the Dokdo and the pursuing fleet. The Queen's flagship stopped. The other Valoran ships stopped behind it. For a long moment, nothing moved. Admiral Park opened a channel that everyone could hear. "Queen Mirai of Valora, you are attempting to pursue a human vessel into neutral space. I am here to tell you that this will not happen." The Queen laughed. 47 ships against 300? You humans are either very brave or very stupid." "Perhaps both," the Admiral said. "But let me tell you something about my species. You have watched us for a century. You have studied us. You think you understand us. But you do not." His voice grew harder. "We are the species that crawled out of extinction 7 times. We are the species that split the atom and chose not to destroy ourselves. We are the species that will burn our own ships to ash before we let you take one of our people. He leaned forward. You might win this fight. Your ships are bigger. Your weapons are stronger. But some of my ships will reach yours. Some of my people will find a way to hurt you. And when word spreads across the galaxy that the mighty Valoran Empire struggled against 47 human vessels, what then? What happens when everyone learns that we do not surrender, that we do not accept, that we fight to the last breath for a single person? The silence stretched. Every eye in the galaxy seemed to be watching. Is your throne worth that risk? The Admiral asked. Queen Mirae did not answer for a long time. Behind her, her advisors whispered. Her fleet waited for orders. Finally, she spoke. Very well, you have won this day, human. But remember this moment. Remember that I allowed you to leave. The debt between us is not settled. It has only begun. Her fleet turned and flew back toward Valora. The Docto crossed the border and joined the Earth fleet. Cheers echoed through every ship. They had done it. They had brought their people home. Weeks later, Do-hyun stood in a small house in the Korean countryside. Mountains rose in the distance. A river flowed nearby. Birds sang in the morning light. He had refused all medals and honors. He wanted no interviews, no parades, no speeches. He just wanted peace. Yuna stood beside him, watching the sunrise. Her silver-blue skin glowed in the early light. She looked different here, away from the cold perfection of Valora. She looked happy. It is beautiful, she said softly. It is home, Do-hyun said. Your people fought an empire for one person. They risked everything. She turned to look at him. I still do not fully understand why. Do-hyun thought about the question. He thought about Jisoo, who had crossed a galaxy to find him. He thought about Admiral Park, who had put his fleet in the path of a superior enemy. He thought about 12 volunteers who had walked into an impossible mission because someone needed help. Because every person matters, he said finally. Not because of what they can do, not because of what they are worth, just because they are one of us. That is not weakness. That is what makes us strong. Yuna was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. It was the first real smile he had seen from her. I think I am beginning to understand, she said. The sun rose higher. Light spread across the mountains and the river and the small house where two people watched the new day begin. Somewhere out in the galaxy, the Queen was planning. Other powers were watching. The future held challenges that no one could predict. But for now, there was peace. For now, there was hope. For now, a man who had been lost was finally home. And that was enough.